All right. How are you guys doing? Hopefully everybody is doing well. I couldn't think of what else to say once the intro stopped. All right, so today we're going to actually take a look at the track lists. Now, there is a track list for the arrange view, and there is a channel list for the mixer view. Now, one of the things that I discovered while doing the last video on the multi-instrument VST plugin and creating their own channels, one of the things that I discovered is there are some caveats to being able to link the track list to the channel list when it comes to just audio tracks or VST instrument tracks. Now, this is really interesting. Yes, I know I am not used to the position on this microphone yet. All right, so I'm going to try not to hit it. Be good. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a couple of different songs, one that has only audio tracks and one that has only MIDI tracks, and are connected to a single VST plugin. This is important. If they are individual VST plugins in a track list, then they will link fine. If they are multiple MIDI performances within and playing the same VST instrument, they will not unless you do one small thing. It's actually quite neat. All right, so let's go ahead, and if you guys could, I'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe to my channel and enable the notifications. Click the little bell so that you know when these silly things are going to start. There we go. If you really like what I do, you can become a member, and with 3 super affordable levels, you can support the channel financially if you got a buck or two to spare. All right, excellent. So now here we are in the classroom here, and I'm way down here in the corner. And my dog Elvis is right over there. He's had a bad night, so he's sleeping now. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the track lists. All right, so here in this song is a song completely comprised of audio tracks. And I am opening the track list by clicking on the little hamburger up here. Let me see if I can get the zoom going. There we go, the little hamburger right there. You click on that, and it opens it up. Somebody called it something else now, and I can't remember what it was, but I call it a hamburger. All right, so let's zoom out. And the track list, oh boy, that was hard. All right, so the channel list, dysphonia is fun, can be, oh man, I smacked it again. And the channel list can be, boy, that's a hard word to say for those of us with broken throats. All right, so the channel list can be accessed pretty much the same way by clicking on its own little hamburger. And for a song with audio tracks, if you select a track, you are selecting the track in both the channel list and in the arrange view. Just like this. If you make a change in the names, you can also make a change in this list here. So if you make the change here, it'll change it here and vice versa. If you hide the tracks, oh, I'm having a tough time today. Dang, I hit the mic again. If you hide tracks, they will hide in both areas. Real simple. Now, this is great if you're actually doing a lot of bouncing. You can actually mute the event itself just by right-clicking and choosing mute, or you can use the mute tool up here in the toolbar right up there. So, you don't have to turn down the volume here. You don't hit the mute button in either place. Go ahead and mute the event if you're going to hide a track. This makes sure that you don't accidentally unmute everything when it actually, when you actually go to unmute a bunch of stuff that you have muted, but you don't want the track to play. If it's hidden, mute the event, not just the channel. All right, so this is an audio track. This is an audio track list. Here's the tracks, here's the channels. So now if we go to a song with only MIDI tracks, if I select, see what's happening here? We have our track list and we have our channel list. They are not following each other. if I click on the little wrench right here, watch this. If I click on the little wrench right here, you can see, let me see if I can get this to come down a little bit. There we go. You can see that I have selected link visibility of track list to console. You would think that selecting that and having that selected would affect things differently. If I select a bunch of channels here, it just doesn't select them. Okay, so how do I fix that? It only selects the first one, which has the actual instrument on it. So how do I fix this? How do I get them all to change as I select them? Here's what I discovered. It's actually quite simple. Now, let's actually zoom in again. Let's get this up here just a little bit more. There we go. So if you look here, as I select these, you also notice that this is not changing as I select it. It only highlights the first one because that's where the instrument actually sits. These MIDI performances are actually pointing to the instrument. But how do we link that? How do we get everything to be in sync like we have in our song with only audio tracks? It is so simple. If I choose drums, if you look right here, you see that this is an association box here. This associates everything in the tracks with whatever else you need. The outputs, the MIDI channels, and all of that stuff. So here we have the channel. And you can see that the first one is linked, no problem. But if I click on the bass, it still says drums. Actually, it says drummy. I'm not sure what drummy is, but you can see that it says drums. Okay. So now, since this is linked to the drums, ooh, I bet that's what this says. Oh, that's what this says. Okay, so you see that this is the channel. So what I need to do here is get rid of drummy and make it drums. There we go. I don't feel too silly. All right, let's get this back up here. All right. So you can see that the drum track is associated now with the drum channel. If I go to bass, I want to associate the bass track with the bass channel. If I go to piano, I need to do that. If I go to the acoustic guitar, I need to choose that. Let's just go ahead and go through them all. And now you can also see that the channel here in the inspector is now changing. All right, we got strings. We're going to associate the strings, pad, and the pad, and then the lead synth with the lead synth. Synth lead. See, the lead synth is associated now with the synth lead channel because I don't know which direction I'm going with my words. All right, so now watch the track list and the channel list. Now everything is changing. The other cool part is now if I hide tracks, they hide in both places as opposed, I don't think I showed the example, but if you don't link them, you have to hide them here, then you have to hide them here. But since everything is connected now, our other song, which is all audio tracks, you can hide and unhide everything. It actually just automatically, there is no association box. I don't know if that's what it's called, but that's what I call it. You don't have to associate anything because the track and the channel are automatically linked with audio. But if I go back to the MIDI and you're using a VST instrument with multiple channels, you have to remember if you want the track list and the channel list to link, you have to make sure that you associate the track with the appropriate channel. That's why this option is here and it's not in the song with the audio tracks. So now if you have a mix of both, you'll actually see this on the MIDI tracks, but you won't see this on the audio tracks. Studio One is smart enough to know what you have in your song and only shows you the options that are available for whatever you're selecting. This is nice. It keeps things nice and clean. It keeps things nice and clean, and it keeps things organized. So there you go. That is the track list and channel list for songs that only have audio tracks and songs that only have MIDI tracks that have or are associated with a multi-timbral instrument. Just like this. There you go. If you're using multiple VST plugin instruments, then they will have their own tracks associated with their channels, like you saw with the drums. Since the instrument is selected and is on the main track with the drums, I didn't really have to associate it, but you could see that it was automatically associated. Since I created these MIDI tracks and they're pointing to the same exact instrument, once I finish my performances, I really need to link them. Now, is there an automatic way to do this? I don't know. I looked everywhere that I could think of, and I didn't see any way to do this. Maybe someone like Lucas or Joe Gilder, maybe they have a trick for this, but this is my first time discovering this. And I think it's going to be really helpful for those of you that use a ton of VST instruments, and if you're using multiple instruments in a particular VST instance, you're wondering why don't things hook up when they're supposed to. So the thing to check would be this. Click on your track, make sure that you have the channel association linked to the correct channel. Tracks, channels, tracks. If I say it lately, I can say tracks. It's nuts. All right, so I hope that you guys found that helpful. So for those of you that are working with VST instruments with huge amounts of tracks associated with different instruments, maybe some tracks playing multiple instruments and things like that, these are the things that you really need to look for. All right, so I hope I didn't lose anybody on that, and you could see that the naming was important, all of that stuff, and those were good examples of how to make sure that you keep everything listed in both the track and channel area. All right, that's going to do it for me. And like I said earlier, if you could, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit the little bell to get notified. Make sure you click on all notifications if you're interested in all of my videos. If you want to support the channel financially, I don't have any members yet, so it's just getting started. Become a member and check out the 3 affordable levels that have some awesome benefits if you are a member of the channel. If you are a member, you can get some free one-on-one time with me if you need help with something, if you're having an issue. So remember, that is a nice benefit to things. I'm finally getting things organized. A lot of these videos eventually are going to show up on Patreon. If you're a Patreon member, you will actually see these videos ad-free. So those are the different things that I have going on. And if you look in the description, you can buy me a coffee. You can donate to my PayPal links down below. So that would be cool if you could do that as well or instead of. Whichever is easier for you. All right, that's going to be it for me, folks. I'll see you in the next video.